Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
dear Kwadwo. Happy
Thank you. Thank
birthday
you. Thank
to
you.
you. So
Thank
if
you
you didn't
very
know,
much.
it's Kwadwo's birthday. I'm not going to ask
It
how
is.
old you are. But congratulations, oh wise Kwadwo. And we are back for yet
Hi,
another
it's
fun...
Quajo.
for yet another...
Sage.
Sage Kwadwo. Oh, that actually works. Sage Quaid. I
It's
like
okay.
that.
Just Quajo. Just Quajo. Just
Okay.
Quajo.
So, wonderful Kwadwo. We are back today, and thank you again so much for being here with us. And today we are going to have a very interesting topic. Chinese is
We are.
easier than you think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess like when we first start learning like Chinese, it can be very overwhelming at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
definitely.
But then after learning it for like a little bit, like like sometimes like the puzzle pieces start kind of like fitting together, and aspects of the language itself like actually starts making much more sense, like for me especially, like than the English language does.
There's some cool ways of looking at it.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's like languages are also like really interesting. So, without further ado, let's go over some of the aspects of Chinese that I personally just find like much easier, especially when compared to
Okay.
English.
All
But then
right.
also, if I wasn't a native of English, I wouldn't learn it, just saying, like, hands down. Okay, let's go. So, first is Pinyin. Yay!
Yeah.
Yes.
People
So,
must learn it in the beginning. So what are we gonna do with opinion?
yep. So with Pinyin, I guess like with the English alphabet, when you're writing a word, the pronunciation of the vowels can change, like at the drop of a hat or at the addition of an e, like silent e. He
Oh, that's
turns
okay.
a cat into a
No, stop!
kite.
It's so confusing. So confusing.
So confusing. Ah! Yeah. But then with Pinyin, like, have you noticed that there's kind of a difference, like with Chinese specifically, and the like, just kind of how the vowels, like, or like more consistency with Pinyin, like
Well,
in
there
that
are. We can
aspect?
talk about the consistent parts. We don't have to talk about the parts that aren't consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's consistent parts.
The cool thing about Pinyin, and if you're watching brand new, then Pinyin is the romanization of Chinese sounds. So Chinese sounds using the Roman alphabet. Oh, and so the cool thing is that it does not follow English pronunciation rules. It follows
Yes.
Chinese pronunciation rules, and those don't change. As in,
Oh.
Chinese has lots of homonyms, and there's no weird sound change rules. Like what you read is what you get, and what you read isn't what you get, which there are a few situations.
Mm-hmm.
It's predictably so, as in 100% of the time so. I think so,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of those annoying cases, not annoying cases, but in the beginning, it can trip someone up when they see the letter I. They're like, oh, I is pronounced, oh, well, if it comes like CHI, then it's like
Mm,
dr, but it
yeah.
sounds like E when it comes after X and Q and J. So
Mm-hmm.
what is it? And then it sounds like when it comes after
Yeah.
like Z, or but
Yeah.
it's that all the time, at least. And
Mm-hmm.
most Chinese sounds like DING, ding,
Ding.
deal, right? There's that northern accent that we all love. Deal, 宫保鸡丁. So
宫保鸡丁.
that doesn't change, DING is DING. It sounds the same all the time as long as you learn the way that Pinyin reads.
Yeah, the thing that I love also about that aspect is that once you kind of get more like used to people talking, and if there's a word that you don't understand, because the pronunciation, like you just hear it and then you can just like look it up really quickly because you'll know the way to spell it. Like you might not know what it means, but you can spell it, which I think is awesome. Because with English, like even now, like I use my like Siri, how do you spell da da da, like all the time with English.
Right.
Yep. I'm not that good in English aspects, but yeah.
I'm sure you're fine in English.
But yes, the Pinyin, I've definitely found it a huge blessing when learning Chinese because of like those consistent aspects of it. And so another really fun aspect is character radicals.
Yeah.
So like Yeah, there's a lot of character radicals. And those characters at the beginning can be really kind of overwhelming for a lot of people.
Oh,
But
for sure
then,
they can.
yeah, but then what's interesting is that they're pictures. And for me, I'm more of like a whole word reader. So I see it as a picture, which like in English doesn't work so well. I'm also left-handed, if that makes sense. But like with Chinese,
Whoa,
it's
what was left-handed?
I'm left-handed. Yep. So I use my right side of the brain. So apparently that has to do with the way that I read stuff. Yeah. But with Chinese, like the radicals, like they have meaning, and then that actually like works into the words that then they're used in. So first is, do you want to read this one for us?
火.
Yeah, fire!
Got it right. All right.
Yay!
Score.
And Kwadwo has passed. Yes. So,
I do speak Chinese.
yes, that's very true. So this one's really, really helpful, I've found. So when you see like 火 by itself, it's just fire. But then you can see it in like different words. So here are 3 different words that are just like separate. So do you want to read some of our words here? So here's the first one.
That should be. Is it Yanhua?
Yes.
Okay,
Yanhua.
cool. Oh no! First
Fireworks.
tone.
I forget. Yanhua.
Yanhua.
Choyan.
Choyan or Choyan.
Choyan.
Choyan. First tone.
First tone.
All right. Let's do it.
Yanhua.
We are beginners in Chinese.
So Yanhua is fireworks.
Yeah. Right.
Just
And so you
awesome.
want? I'll read them all first, and then Fang Pao also has to do with fireworks. It's literally putting fireworks. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah. Fang Pao.
And then
And there was a chemical plant in Pinyin
oh
that
my goodness. Yeah.
爆炸了, 爆炸. And those I
爆炸.
know are 4th tones. 爆炸.
Yeah. 爆炸. Yeah. No, yeah, I remember that. That was crazy.
That's scary.
Yeah,
I
爆炸.
didn't live too near though, so fortunately
Whew.
nothing happened to me.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we can see, there is 火 in many of these, the aspects that have to do with like fire itself. So I definitely find that really helpful because like firework in English, it has like fire in it, but then like explosion doesn't have the word fire in it.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
It
That's good thoughts.
Right. Yeah. And so I really like that kind of that aspect of it, that consistency, and to be able to also guess what a new character could possibly mean or what it like kind of like look is talking about.
I think you're
like
hitting the headphone. Maybe. Is
Thank
that you? All right.
possibly
You're excited, and we can hear it. Oh, maybe it is. keep
Okay,
going. It's all good.
Okay.
This is
right.
you guys
it's
like.
it's totally my. Oh, I know what it is.
Oh, it's your earrings.
Earring.
It doesn't. You'll regret it. You guys watching, like, we just kind of went through a little bit right before. Happy has some good stuff lined up for you. This of any video would be the one to watch to the end. We're gonna cover some good stuff and rather quickly. So.
Yep, rather quickly.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Okay, is it a little bit better now?
Ready. Yeah, it is.
And so
it was totally your earrings.
It totally was. Yep, I have now taken care of that problem. Fashion statement. So the next radical that I find extremely helpful is
Oh, 三点水. The water radical.
The water radical. And this is 水, so water here, and then this is 三点水. Why is it 三点水? Because there's 1, 2, 3.
Three water radicals.
Yes, 3 water radicals. So this one I also find extremely helpful. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Oh, teacher
Here we
Kwadwo.
go.
Here we go.
Hi is the first one. 和 is the next one. Yo is oil, which is funny because water and oil don't mix, but there it is.
It's a liquid.
Water rock. It's a liquid, right? And 洗, which means to wash.
Yeah. So we've got ocean. We've got, this is a river, right? Yeah.
And that's oil. Yeah. 和.
Yeah. Oil and then wash. So yeah. So having 三点水, like they all have to do with water. Pretty sure there's a lot of water in the ocean, a lot of water in the rivers.
Yep.
But then maybe not so much water in oil specifically, but it's a liquid. So
yeah. Okay. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna
go with that.
It's Chinese. We have to go with it.
Yep,
We can't
we gotta
reinvent their
go with it.
language.
Yep, can't reinvent it. Can't really question it. But it does really help that it does like it's like it has this self-explanatory aspect to it that like yeah, it makes sense that xi, like to wash something would have water in it and the ocean has water and a river has water. Whereas with English, like if you look at like pond or like river, this kind of word with no context or see it just for the first time, there's nothing that gives like a like that really like gives you a hint
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
it means, right?
But
So
these two, like
yeah, but these do. Yep. So I definitely really like that. And then what are some radicals that you really like personally?
oh, I was just gonna look at the chat and write down Leo. I don't. You caught me off guard because you know, like Leo Shui.
Yeah.
I just thought of that.
Mm.
I'm putting it
Oh
in
yeah. In the
the chat right here.
hello,
Oh,
Anissa.
did I put that in our
Thank you so
private
much.
chat by accident? Oh, geez.
Erps.
Let
Yep.
me go to the
Okay.
YouTube. So other
Yeah.
radicals that I enjoy. Is this a radical? The Bao Tou? Is it? I don't.
包盖头.
Bao
Think
Tou.
so, yeah.
It's the hat. It's
Yeah.
the hat.
I
The hat
love the
radical.
hat.
The roof
Yes.
radical.
Like on House.
Yeah. It's like on house. Like Zhu. No, not Zhu, but Jai. That house or Jia. So like Jai is there.
Ooh, yeah,
Jia
there's Liu.
is there. Wan is finished. Maybe you have to have a covering to be finished. Like I just dropped them into your YouTube
Yeah, to the
chat.
YouTube.
But
Wonderful.
these are I like that one because it does show up. I feel like a lot.
It does, yeah. And then also the one for like 人字旁, like the one
yeah.
with like a person. So
Oh, that's way more.
yeah, that one, like I definitely see that all the time. And then another one that I also love is ko, like ko.
That's even more popular. How did I not think of this one?
Bro,
You're like
there's so
Kwadwo.
many.
Give me
Nah.
real examples, please.
Nah,
like better
bro.
ones. Yeah, there
You're
you go.
giving me good ones already, bro. Like, come on. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, in the chat right now, start typing your radicals with ko. Ko. It's the box radical. It means mouth. Who can type the most characters? And don't just look up random characters. Type what you know. Come on.
Yep. I'm very new to this. I want to learn new languages, so I thought about it. Well, thank you so much for joining, buddy. Got some new friends here in my chat, so I'm really excited.
Right?
Like,
I
thank
know,
you guys.
right?
Yep. So then, yeah, so Chinese is actually much easier than you think. And so these are, we're going over some of the ways that it's actually very easy and consistent and also like helpful and like to like in the aspect of like when Chinese can just be really kind of overwhelming at the beginning, but these aspects of it are really like helpful, especially for like English speakers. Because it's just so much fun. Oh, An is a good one. Yeah.
Because peace, also you're under a roof.
Yeah.
Get going. That's cool.
Pinyin. Oh my gosh.
Going.
I love it. Get going. Get going. I love it. So here, let's move on to our next one. So
I literally just put swipe up and join us because on Instagram.
Really?
yeah. That's why I was looking down. I just got it done. So we'll see who follows us over here.
Well, thank you so much.
Conjugation. You're welcome. Of course.
Yes. So conjugation. Oh, ma is a really good one with ko zapang. Yeah. So conjugation.
Okay.
This has been my personal favorite because as someone who's learned Japanese and Korean, there's so many different ways to conjugate something. And so with conjugation to like, for example, like, well, like choose somewhere, right? To go somewhere. And to have chu, like if you, in English, the past tense of it is going to be went. So I went somewhere, right? So go, going, went. So,
it's difficult. And if you're coming from learning plenty of languages, but let's just talk Romance languages, you know, like French, Spanish, Italian, Romanian. Conjugation, but not even the craziest. At least there's no cases like in, say, like Ukrainian, Russian, Polish, Finnish, and Hungarian. Finnish and Hungarian are absolutely crazy when it comes to cases plus conjugation. And anyway, Chinese doesn't have that. Present tense, past tense. Yesterday, 我吃. Today, 我吃. Tomorrow, 我吃. And I'm tired because I did all that eating yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Same. Me throughout all of quarantine. like just every day, past,
Yes.
present, future.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's
yes.
so wonderful because it really makes it that once you learn a new verb, you can just plug it into any like
Mhm,
sentence structure. So in
mhm.
that aspect, I find like when you start learning Chinese and you start learning the grammatical structures, it's so much easier to be able to plug in the new and apply the new words because also a majority of them are just one or two
Easier.
syllables.
Yeah.
Easier,
No, but
easier.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're definitely right. You're definitely right. Definitely.
Yeah. Whereas with like Japanese like verbs, like when you learn one, they're usually multiple syllables, and so for my little brain,
Mhm.
like it's much harder to remember them. Like I have to work harder at kind of memorizing them and getting them right. But whereas with Chinese, like if it's just one syllable or two syllables of a verb, it's much easier to be able to apply that and just like plug it into like grammar structures that I've already learned. Like I don't have to sit down and then think, okay, what is this past, present, future, present? Like I
Exactly.
don't even know.
Don't even start.
I
Please.
don't even
I
know.
really
I
can't
don't
handle
even
the
know.
names of all those. Like present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, gerund. No, I'm an
Jared,
English,
Jared.
so, you know.
Yep. And then my brother is learning Russian, so he's taught like told me about just how crazy the conjugation is. He likes math though, so it works out really well for him. But I'm just like, wow,
Torture. Torture. He likes
yeah.
torture, so it works out really well for
It
him.
works out really well. Like at least like through the torture, there's always one
Mhm.
answer. So he really likes that aspect. Ooh, coffee, cafe. All right, both of them have cold supply. Smart, boss
The
Tasha.
word for peen is three
Oh,
because it's flavor and it has three cows.
oh, yeah. Oh my
Peen.
gosh,
That's the one. Peen. I'm just writing it into that
I
because you're
love that
talking, so
one.
I'm writing.
Ooh, so get going. So I always say English conjugation is dumb. Chinese is easier than English in those respects.
And so,
Booyah! Like,
yeah.
exactly. Right? So I really appreciate that aspect of it. Yes, there's other beautiful, hard parts about Chinese, but in the conjugation aspect and the other aspects that we've talked about, it's very, like, it's much easier and, like, not as difficult. So another part that I wanted to talk about is articles. So I think with, like, articles, so with English, there are so many of the articles. There are so many
What?
articles.
Articles? Particles. Particles or articles?
Particles,
Articles.
articles,
Articles.
all of
Particles.
them like put together, I guess.
Are
Like
we?
it.
You didn't prep me for this one. I'm
So
not.
this
Where are you? Are you mean the things on the end of the sentence? Or 语气词? No.
语气, so not 语气词, so meaning like with English we'll say an apple, the apple,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
that things,
So
right?
there's only three. Yeah.
Yeah. So that stuff with, and then with English, like I don't even know how to explain why something is the or the or or e. Nope, it's not e. So like just having
Yeah.
to
Oh. Yeah.
explain
Okay. Yeah.
those
Okay.
parts. Whereas with Chinese, it feels that it's so much like it's like 省略, like it takes out and leaves out so many of that like really like
You're
unnecessary things.
right. Yep.
Like
You can get rid
so
of the stuff that's implied or the things that
yeah.
are unnecessary. Unnecessary is a very simple. Very simple. Yeah. Cool.
Yep. So I really love that aspect of articles because it also just feels that you're able to get like the sentence across, like the meaning across so much quicker and so
Yeah.
much more efficiently
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't have to say like
I
to
like how it is.
and
I like
like
your
stuff
comment.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, these comments, cows eat, a cow
Yeah, you
eats.
got good comments today. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
it's
my
very, very
gosh.
cool.
Thank you so much. No, yeah, I'm so excited. Like this is wonderful hudong. Like I'm so happy. And then another fun aspect of learning Chinese that's not as hard is like certain aspects of pronunciation. So not all Chinese pronunciation is the same as like English pronunciation, but there are some sounds that are similar to those
Mhm.
that are already available in English.
Give us a
Japanese,
couple.
yeah. So I would say like for a couple that like for example like ma, like mama, and like
Those
then
are
having
quite
it in
similar.
English, like in English we already have like the aspect of like ma, right? And to be able to then kind of transfer that, like so our mouth already knows how to make that sound, and then to be able to transfer it, like tones is a different like world in itself, but to be able
Yeah.
to transfer that and use it and apply it when learning Chinese. It's already something that an English like sound palette has like is able to do. So to be able to
Our
transfer
tongues
that
are
over.
used to it.
Yeah, our tongues are used to it. So we don't have to like go break it down to a science to try and like figure out how to make this sound because they're already used to it. So what are some other pronunciations that you would say are already available from the English language?
How about when we say, I was thinking "ju," but actually no, that's not quite it. Well,
I
so
don't.
"th" like "ja," that's
Mm-hmm.
not too hard because we say like "jaw" like our jawbone. So that's really
That's so true.
close
Oh
to
my
like that
gosh.
character you put earlier, "bao jia,"
爆炸.
explode.
Yeah. 加的爆炸了.
If it
Well,
doesn't
that's so
have an
true.
O on it and it doesn't have any of the like ing, eng, but if it has like say an A or if it ends in an I, then
Mm-hmm.
like those ones are usually similar to like our English like ah sound or the E
Oh,
sound for if it ends in an I. Yeah, those are just easy. And lots of the
yeah.
beginning consonants that have T, like D,
Mm.
they're you can say them with an English letter, even if like in Chinese the T is a bit thicker, if that's a word to describe it. Like
Yeah.
instead of
More
tooth,
long.
it's they kind of front load their tongue against the insides of the back upper teeth to make it a more, or sometimes right in between the teeth, almost like it's going to be a th, but not does it come out anyway. Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not get too
Right.
complicated.
No, yeah, no,
As
because
we
I think
discussed.
that's no, yeah. With like pronunciation, the other thing that I think was really interesting is that there are certain pronunciations like northern and southern pronunciation that actually make it much easier for
Okay.
like for people that like maybe to keep it like more nasally like in the front of the mouth or then like in a northern to have it more in like
Yeah,
the back
yeah.
of the throat like stuff like that. So probably for Russian speakers like to have a northern accent is much easier because a lot of their pronunciations are
Oh,
already very throat based. But then
I
for like a Japanese speaker, one that's like learning a southern like accent, it's much easier for them to transfer that because a lot of Japanese is already very nasally and it's in the front of the mouth or like kind of like above. So that's just an observation. But
I
yeah.
didn't know honestly that much because I don't know much about Russian, but wow. I love how you can make unique or observations because of the amount of linguistic exposure you have, which just means for regular folk that Happy knows a lot of languages, so she can compare them.
I just like to talk, basically.
No, you know a lot of languages. That's good.
Oh, and
That's
then
good.
Get Going also said in the chat R in R. Oh, that's true. It's an R sound. R.
Ooh. R.
No,
It's a
like
bit
R.
different.
Well, no, the R sound, as in the English R, like
R
A
is
B
R.
C D E F
I'm
G
reading Get
R.
Going right
Yeah,
now. I'm looking down and reading him right
yeah,
now. R is R. So that actually
yeah.
is quite close and
That
quite,
is really
yeah,
close. Yeah.
R is R.
I
R is R.
totally didn't think about that. That's so true. Like 一二三 三
So,
yeah 四
E
like so
R
四
we are
yeah
son.
吴亦凡 oh boy like so and that's so true. Yeah, so just to be able to kind of find those like aspects that are really like simple
R.
when yeah are and I love that like to be able to really understand or like get kind of a feel for the aspects of Chinese that aren't that hard or aren't that difficult, like just the really nice aspects of it. So thank you again so much, Kwadwo, for being here. And would you be
You're
able to
welcome.
tell us a bit about your DIY community?
Oh, sure, sure. I can't stop thinking number two now. Whenever I hear anything that says R, we
Oh,
didn't
like
even say
pirates.
my speak Chinese. Pirates are great. Oh, geez. Now this is just going downhill. Let's bring it back in. Let's bring it back in.
Okay, bring it
Chinese.
back in.
Because I can't speak Chinese, and I teach Chinese, and I'm the creator of Elementary Chinese, where I help learners learn Chinese better. Because, like I say, learn real Chinese, because I feel like what we learn in the books, if you want a bit of origin story, which you didn't ask for, but I took classes in Beijing, like intensive study, and I was super frustrated that day in, day out, in order to get good grades, I had to study a lot, and I couldn't communicate with the folks outside because I was studying what was in the books. But people weren't just communicating like we're in the books. And if you're watching and you're not sure what that means is when somebody asks you to explain English grammar, if you're an English native speaker and you're not a teacher and you're not a genius, then you'll be like, what? What do you mean, gerund? And like, well, I'm just not sure if I should use the gerund or the past perfect or the simple past. I'm like, so anyway, DIY Chinese community is where I focus on helping Chinese learners, not Chinese learners, because it could be Chinese people learning something, Mandarin learners who are DIYing, learning on their own, and they're outside of China, and they just are overwhelmed and they need direction. They need to know how to consistently, I would say always, make progress no matter what. Then that's you. Then come on inside the community. There's a link down below. It's like elementarychinese.com/happy HAPPI. But yeah, that's the community. In effect, yeah, it's my community. So of course I'm going to say join it. But I've just been privileged. I've just been privileged to sit in there and see the progress that people are making, and people are making great progress. And I want you to make progress. So there you go.
And that's wonderful, right? Like, and to be able to continuously make progress, I think is really important, because it's so easy for people to get stuck, right? To get stuck
and upset.
Yeah, and
give up.
overwhelmed. Yeah, especially with Chinese. Like, I feel I've met a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I took that for a year and then I just quit. And I'm like, well, no, like, no.
Please keep going. You're worth it.
Going. Yeah. And it opens up this whole new world. And like, Chinese is totally worth it. Like, it's this beautiful language that like just really lets you make friends with like a huge part of the world. Like, for me, that's already like really worth it. So that's
I think
just me.
so. It's been super fulfilling meeting Chinese people.
Yeah, right. And then you get to access to all of this beautiful music, like 薛之谦.
You really like 薛之谦.
I really like 薛之谦.
You do like 薛之谦. I've heard that name a few times.
Yep, I definitely love it. But yes, thank you again so much, Kwadwo. We're gonna probably go ahead and wrap up. But today we went over many of the ways that probably like Chinese Mandarin speakers like didn't really know that Mandarin is not as hard as you thought. Hey, so thank you.
Not.
Yeah, it's not. It really isn't, right?
So but it's not.
But it is. Yes. So there's definitely hard aspects, but I think like it's easy to get caught up in the hard and difficult aspects of it. But to realize that, you know, there are like somewhat more simple aspects. There are parts that like for me just logically make much more sense than other languages. So yep, definitely love that. Well, thank you again so much, Kwadwo. And then everybody, thank you for all of your wonderful comments and just being so like 互动, like really like just interacting today has been so much fun. Thanks for your like inputs. And then everyone, be sure to check out the link below where you can look out Kwadwo's like DIY community. Oh, yay!
Thank you guys. Yeah, it's my honor to help. See you later.
See ya.